Micah Deyo and I'm 18. And I'm excited just to, I don't know, get to know you, share about me.
Perfect. Okay, what do you feel like is an activity that you really enjoy doing outside of school?
I really like swimming. I really like rock climbing. And then my favorite thing has to be community service. I've volunteered in like various settings, but my favorite place I've volunteered, I think, was about 800 hours over high school. Yeah, was an elementary multiple disabilities classroom.
Oh, nice. Is that something that you want to do when pursue college and like career-wise?
Yeah, that's what I'm majoring in.
Oh, what exactly are you majoring in?
I'm majoring in special education early childhood with a minor in deaf studies.
Nice. Where do you currently go to school?
Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Nice. Okay. Um, okay, great answer. Um, Okay, so what do you feel like is an accomplishment or personal project, extracurricular activity that you're really proud of working on, and why do you feel like it's important to you?
Okay, so this piggybacks off of my last answer. Um, my goal for high school was to get 1,000 hours of community service. So I definitely think that's my biggest thing because um, it just shows like the dedication and the passion for like all the fields that because I volunteered for Special Olympics and for the school in the multiple disabilities classroom and like a bunch of other settings like that at camp for individuals with Down syndrome. So
Yeah,
that's definitely the biggest thing.
very cool. Did you like volunteer every day or was it like increments within the week?
Um, Starting out was, well, it depended on what I was doing. So like Special Olympics was once a week.
Okay.
Um, the school district in like my sophomore junior year, it was every other day I went to the elementary school.
Mm,
But my senior year I went every day for 2-ish hours, sometimes more, sometimes less, give or take. So it
nice.
really depends.
Nice. Um, okay. In terms of someone trying to accomplish such a feat, like of doing that many community service hours, what do you feel like is a good piece of advice to give someone who is just starting out?
Like starting out on their goal.
Yeah, or like wanting to volunteer but not knowing where to start, or like in terms of like time management, because I'm sure 1,000 hours took a lot out of your, life. So yeah, in terms of that, like what piece of advice would you give?
Definitely find something that you really like. Like it, don't do something that you don't like. If you don't like it, try something different. Um, as for time management, you know, do what you can. Um, don't like overgive yourself. Um, but like for me, I found a lot of important things was like getting ahead on homework, um, talking to teachers and friends and just like getting that good starting point.
Yeah. Perfect answer. Okay, so obviously you are in college right now and what is like the end goal, like job wise for you?
Um, I mean, starting out, I'll take anything in special ed
Yeah.
teaching, but the ultimate end goal would to be to have my own elementary multiple disabilities life skills classroom.
Oh, that's so nice. Okay, well, in terms of like education, how do you feel like you would define it?
Um, I think I would define it as a place that students and like young kids, teens, can find a passion for what they like to do and can just like, I don't know, just learn more about what's interesting to them while also getting a background in everything else.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, well, do you feel like there's a topic or a skill that should be taught in majority of schools that isn't?
My school is very blessed. We have a lot of things. I'm trying to think of what other schools might not have. Um, I think a big thing would definitely, especially in the younger ages, like elementary school, to have like the music and art and STEM and all of those classes to get kids to be like, oh, I like this, and then like
Mhm.
dig deeper into it as they get older.
Yeah, good answer. Um, okay, tell me about someone who you feel like has left a big impact on your life and why.
My mom for sure. Um, she's like dedicated to so many things, and she also, when I was growing up in elementary school, she worked at the elementary school. So, like, seeing her with kids, she teaches dance too. So, like, seeing her um, teach is inspiring. Um, for like the special education aspect and what really draws me to it, I don't know. I feel like it kind of fits all of them. There's like the middle school multiple disability life skills teacher, and then the elementary school that I work at, that multiple disabilities teacher. Um, just like the passion, the love, the care that they bring to the students, and like the willingness to get to know each individual, get like, work at their needs, build on what they need is like, I don't know, it's like something I aspire to be.
Yeah, very beautiful answer. Um, okay, so if it's the same answer, we can just elaborate on it. But my next question is there a cause or social issue that you're really passionate about and why?
Definitely like disability rights, disability advocacy, and all of that. You know, like for example, television is becoming more inclusive. Like there's more and more deaf actors. They just released a movie titled Out of My Mind on Disney Plus about a girl with cerebral palsy. So like, you know, people bringing awareness to these um, disabilities that they people are a lot more capable than what the public eye sees, I think is something that I definitely like want to advocate for. I want it to be normalized, like, hey, just because you're different doesn't mean you're less.
Yeah, exactly. Do you feel like your school does a good job of kind of doing that, advocating? Like, do you feel like your program is really strong in that aspect?
I definitely think my school district is. We have a really, really big support system, and we have um, a really, really good special ed program. So, like, we get some of the most unique and rare disorders that come to our school, and it's really cool to work with them and meet them and be friends with them. So, I would definitely say our school district is blessed.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Um, okay, well, obviously, going back to the 1,000 community service hours, you've obviously done a lot for your community and you're very passionate about giving back to your community. In terms of like giving a piece of advice to someone who wants to make a positive impact on their community or their school or what have you, um, in any case, not specifically to special needs, what do you feel like is a good piece of advice to give?
Um, I feel like it's similar, but find something that you enjoy. Find an age group, whether it's kids or elderly or homeless people. Find something that draws your attention, your heart, and then you know act on it. Research, find ways that you can do that support, step into the community, and I think a lot of people might see community service as something that's like a punishment from like if you do something bad, but it should really be something that you love to do, and it should be something that you enjoy. So yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Um, okay, so again, you can be as like detailed or as vague with this one as you want, but what do you feel like is a challenge that you've had to kind of go through that has shaped you to the person I'm speaking to today?
Um, okay, I can think of a couple. Um, Academically, I think something that has shaped me is learning how to advocate for myself.
Mhm.
Um, Growing up, I've struggled with reading and writing. I'm like borderline reading disorder, We had to fight for a diagnosis, like, well, testing in middle school, where they were like, you're low, but not low enough for help.
Mhm.
So definitely like having to navigate school with a struggle that I wasn't able to truly get help with. So that led me to get really close to my teachers to get the help that I needed. And I'm one that loves to be in relationships with teachers and friends. Like I like to get to know people that I'm with. Um, so academically, definitely that. Um, Another thing would be friendships. Um, I think about a month after I was born, my best friend was born with Down syndrome, so we grew up together. Um, and then in later years in elementary school, I met another student with a disability that I became friends with. Middle school, we had like a lunch table where, like, I don't know, 5 to 8 of us would sit at a lunch table, and the majority of us would have disabilities, and it was just a great community. But I also struggled a lot with my typical peers. I struggled with keeping relationships, maintaining relationships. Um, if groups were too big, I would like freeze. I did better in smaller situations. And I lost a lot of friendships over the years, and definitely learning about it taught me, like, what a good friend is. And
Mhm.
that helped me seek out friends that respected who I was, and it taught me that if people aren't going to accept me for me, then they're not the right people for me. Um, and I think the last thing that shapes me for who I am that you're seeing, um, I grew up undiagnosed autistic. I was diagnosed at age 17. And so definitely like growing up knowing I was different, but not knowing why. Um, and now I had all those advocacies and I did all of the community service. And now I'm like, oh, it's okay to be different. And that's definitely shaped me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. If it's any consolation, the person I'm talking to is a wonderful human being, and I think that everything that you've been through has shaped you very beautifully.
Thank you.
Yeah. Um, okay, so obviously that that's hard to kind of live your whole life feeling like, something is different, but what exactly is that something? What do you feel like is something that you could tell someone struggling with that same um, you know, unknown? What do you feel like is something that would really help, if you were in someone else's shoes?
Um,
Or like if you could go back and you wish someone could tell you this.
I mean, I think one of the biggest things is that it's okay to be different. There's, no right or wrong way to be in this world. But definitely like speaking up for yourself if you feel like something isn't quite right, just starting the conversation, which I wish, um, as stereotypes are slowly being broken down, I feel like it would have been nice to be told, like, um, hey, it's okay to be different. If you feel like, you should be able to share. So, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so that was kind of like my last question. Do you feel like you have anything you really want to share, kind of bring forth, kind of anything?
Um,
Or if you'd like to elaborate on something that you previously said, I just want to kind of open up the space for you to, you know, express. If not, no pressure.
um, I'm just trying to think.
Good.
I feel like something else that goes along with not necessarily the advocacy, but the passion and like my desire to help. I was in high in middle school. I would help this kind of goes with volunteering, but at the time it wasn't, I didn't know it was volunteering. I just was like, ooh, this is fun. I helped with the adapted PE class where, it's all of the students in the school, in the middle school I went to that had um, a varying desire of needs. And we would like, you know, do gym things to their abilities. We would have a ramp for bowling. We would have a parachute that we could push students under if they were in a wheelchair, we could run with or crawl with. Um, I helped with Special Olympics in middle school as well, um, as like a peer coach, I
Mm.
think is what you would call it. So, like, me and one other peer were a coach to a student with a disability. Um, and then in high school is when I did like this PA, Special Olympics, where I was a coach for swimming and bowling, and I got certified as a head coach for bowling. Um, I was trained to be a head coach for bocce, but they couldn't find a location where I lived, so that fell through.
No.
Um, in high school, I participated in Best Buddies. If you don't know what Best Buddies is, it's either a national or international organization where it's like held in elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, like colleges. It's this huge thing where peers are matched with a buddy, one to one in a relationship for. So it's like a student with a disability and a
Mm.
typically developing peer
Okay.
or a pair in a relationship, and then the chapter. So, for example, like the school would do like an activity, but then you would get together with your buddy outside of that.
Mm. Okay.
Um,
It's like big sister, big brother, like that.
kind of, kind of,
Okay.
but like it's really normalizing a friendship.
Okay.
So it's not really no one's
No
higher
one's
up.
there. Okay, I see.
It's even, yeah.
I see.
So I did that all 4 years in high school. In my sophomore year of high school, I helped found the sign language club. So I was
Who?
just a member the first year, and then the next year I was secretary. Then the following year I was like secretary, vice president.
Uh,
My senior year we did unified bocce. We helped fight to bring unified bocce back, which is where a peer is matched with a student with disability, and then you play bocce together.
oh,
Um, and then now that I finished my first semester of college, but I joined Best Buddies, where I have a buddy that communicates with sign language.
ooh.
Um, and we've done a bunch of activities together. We do Special Olympics bowling there. Um, and then we just do like the Best Buddies activities and hang out and go out to eat and stuff. I also was in sign language club at college as a member, but then I was voted in as vice president for next semester.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
yeah, so
Amazing.
it's pretty cool,
Yeah.
but
Did you did you learn sign language like later on in life, or have you always known it since you were little?
um, so I've taken one class online, but the majority of what I've learned was like middle school to high school. With our school district has an interpreter for students that are nonverbal. Um, so one of my best friends is one of the students that work with the interpreter, so I learned a lot there. I'm not fluent,
Okay.
but I tested out of sign language one this past semester, so I'm starting in sign language two next semester. So I'm very excited to have an in-person sign language class.
Oh,
Um,
exciting. Do you feel like you're
yeah,
like at least able to have like hold a conversation?
yeah, I can hold some conversation, which is really fun. Um,
Do you feel like it's something that, because I know, when you're learning a language kind of later on in life, even like middle school, high school, it's way harder to grasp. Do you feel like that also fits in with sign language, or is sign language just a bit easier to learn?
for me, it's a little bit easier. I feel like it's very like the visualizations and like each sign has a meaning and a reason.
Mm.
Like like girl. because
Yeah.
like in the olden days there was a bonnet, so the girls like the strap of a bonnet. So it makes sense in my mind, but um, it's still hard because I'm learning it later.
Yeah.
But it's still really cool.
Yeah. Well, very
Um,
amazing that you have all these accomplishments at such a young age, and I have no doubt that you will have way more to come. Do you have anything else you want to share? Because that was great, but if you have more,
um, I don't know. I mean, I have two jobs, which are both related to the field. Um, I teach swim lessons for individuals with and without disabilities. I actually helped bring back the adapted swim lesson program that fell through COVID. So, um, my favorite's obviously teaching the adapted lessons, but I've taught babies through adults.
what?
And I'm also a one-on-one paraprofessional. So now instead of volunteering in these classrooms, I'm now being able to work with the students one-on-one, which is really cool. But
Very cool. Very
I don't
cool.
really know if there's anything else. That's really all I do.
That's not all. That's a lot. But I'm very excited for you to. I know you're still, fresh and new, and college is still a, new experience. But I'm very excited for you to, keep going and do so many more amazing things. But how do you feel like with this interview? How do you feel like? Are you comfortable?
Yeah,
Do you feel like you got to share everything that you wanted to share? Perfect.
yeah.
Well, it was a pleasure meeting you. I had so much fun talking to you. Hey YouTube! If you enjoyed this person's story, don't forget to subscribe below to hear more from our inspiring youth. If you want to apply for our Storyteller Scholarship or get more involved in our organization, click the link below to apply. Thanks for watching!